Well, I think what's interesting about him, if he is canonized, he will be the first U.S. born male saint. And he really is an American kid. I mean, he's a farm kid. He wasn't a great scholar. He was very ordinary, and his ordinariness made him so accessible that it's and after he died, it's not the province, it's not the Capuchins, it's not the bishops who wanted to make him a saint. It was the people. They were the ones that pushed it. They were the ones that started the Solanus Guild. They were the ones that backed the process of canonization from the beginning, because he was so accessible. He was so ordinary. He was amazingly ecumenical. I did an index of all of his writings, and he meets with everybody, with atheists, with Orthodox, with Protestants of every stripe, and he's getting Presbyterians, signed up in the Seraphic Mass Association, and he's getting, people from evangelical churches. At one point, he actually, because he's in Detroit, Motor City, he actually has like the Ford company enrolled in the Seraphic Mass Association. So he was incredibly ecumenical, but he was also uh, he probably first met African Americans when he was in New York early in his ministry. He did some prison ministry, which was probably his first experience with African Americans. But he was very at ease with them. And actually, a couple of years ago, when I was going to the monastery and I was taking a taxi, and this guy knew where I was going because he knew the monastery, and I said I was going to work on Solanus, and he said my family knew Solanus because they used to live behind the monastery on Mount Elliot. And he said we were the only African American family on that block, and the neighbors were not the most welcoming in the world. And one day Solanus came over in habit, visited us, and after that, he said the neighbors were really nice to us. Uh, so um, he had a very common touch, and he had an intuitive spirit, which I partly contribute to his family. And so he could empathize with people enormously. He One of the interesting things, of course, is there are a lot of favors and miracles that are attributed to him by various people, but there was also a lot of tragedy. There were many children who died. I mean, it was the stage of polio. It was a time of Great Depression in the United States. People were losing their homes and their farms and their businesses, and there was suicide, and there were children being killed in accidents and or being maimed for life, and he records all this stuff. And one of the fascinating things is that, and he had enough disappointment in his own life, he never shows depression. He never demonstrates that he's unhappy. Even when something doesn't go right, his he believes that God is present, and that's why he keeps saying, "Thanks be to God." He says it thousands of times. It's all through his writings. Deo gratias, thanks be to God. Um, and I think that's his way of recognizing that God is present in people's lives, and sometimes not present the way we want. And that's why one of his other favorite phrases was, "Thank God ahead of time."